Hello. My name is Lily. I'm 21 years old. I live in a small apartment in the city. I work at a coffee shop called Bean and Brew. It's not a big shop, but it's warm, clean, and full of the smell of coffee and fresh bread. Every day, I wake up at 6 a.m., take a shower, and wear my brown work uniform. I tie my hair in a bun and leave my house by 6:30. I take the bus, and in 20 minutes, I reach the coffee shop. My shift starts at 7 a.m. My job is simple. I clean tables, take orders, make drinks, and talk to customers. Most people come in, take their coffee, and leave. Some are in a hurry, some are sleepy, and some are always on their phones. But one morning, something changed. It was a cold Monday in October. The leaves were falling. I was wiping the counter when I saw a boy walk in. He looked about my age. He had short brown hair, glasses, and a calm face. He wore a blue jacket and had a book in his hand. He walked to the counter and said, "1 cappuccino, please." I smiled. "Sure. Your name?" "James," he said. I wrote his name on the cup and made his coffee. He waited quietly, looking out the window. I gave him the drink and said, "Have a nice day." He looked at me and smiled. "Thank you. You too." That was all. Just a short moment. But it stayed in my mind all day. The next morning, he came again. Same order. Same time. I smiled and said, "Cappuccino again?" He laughed softly. "Yes. You remember." I nodded. I started to look forward to 8:15 every day, the time he usually came in. Soon, it became a small habit. I would see James almost every day. I learned that he liked his coffee with extra foam. I learned he always carried a book. And I learned that I smiled more when he was around. After a week he asked, "What's your name?" "Lily," I said. "Lily. Nice name," he said with a smile. We started to talk more. Sometimes just a few words. Sometimes more. He told me he worked at a bookstore just down the road. He loved books and quiet mornings. One day he said, "You always look cheerful. Do you like this job?" I said, "Yes. I like meeting people. And I like the smell of coffee." That made him laugh. Another week passed. Then one day, the rain was falling very hard. I forgot my umbrella. My shift ended at 4 p.m., and I stood outside, thinking how to go home. Suddenly, I heard a voice. "Lily." I turned. It was James. He was holding a big umbrella. "Are you going home?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "But I don't have an umbrella." He smiled. "Then let's walk together." We walked slowly under the umbrella. The rain fell around us, but we were dry. The road was quiet, just the sound of our footsteps and the rain. We talked about simple things, movies, music, food. When we reached my apartment, I looked at him and said, "Thank you." He smiled. "Any time." That was the first time we spent time outside the shop. After that, we began meeting more often. Sometimes we met after work. Sometimes on Sundays. We went to parks, to bookshops, to little cafes. One Sunday, we sat by the lake. The sun was soft. The wind was light. James looked at me and said, "Lily, I like being with you. You make my day better." I felt my heart beat faster. I said, "I feel the same." We sat in silence for a moment. It was peaceful. That day, I knew I was falling in love. Our days became brighter. We texted each other good morning and good night. He brought me flowers once. I baked him cookies. We laughed together, walked slowly under trees, and shared our dreams. I told him I wanted to open my own bakery one day. He told me he wanted to write a book. One evening, as we sat watching the sunset, he held my hand and said, "Lily, will you be my girlfriend?" I smiled. Yes. We were both quiet. But inside, I felt like dancing. Even at work, I was happier. My co-workers noticed. One of them, Mia, said, "You smile too much these days. What's his name?" I laughed and told her. Of course, not every day was perfect. Sometimes James had a bad day at work. Sometimes I felt tired or upset. But we talked about everything. We listened. We cared. One day, I told him, I never thought love would come like this. Quiet, simple, and kind. He said, "Sometimes, the best things come when we don't expect them." Now, months have passed. James still comes to the shop every morning. He still orders his cappuccino. But now, he also brings me a flower or a new joke. Sometimes, he just gives me a long look that says more than words. And every time I see him, I feel lucky. Love is not always loud. It does not need big gifts or fancy dinners. Sometimes, love is in small things. A coffee. A walk in the rain. A shared umbrella. A smile. And that is my story. My name is Lily. I work at a coffee shop. And I fell in love with a boy who came in for a cappuccino. And now I wake up every day, still wearing my uniform, still making coffee, but my heart is full. Because love came to me in the most beautiful way. Simple, sweet, and slow.